Hello YouTube, I'm Efring225 and today I will be starting a playthrough of one of my oldest ROM hacks ever. Not oldest, but still really old. This is the Advance Wars 2 Totally Flat Situation Room. Now, if you have no idea what any of that meant, basically, in 2007, on the old fan site advancewarsnet.com, there was a guy named Marine who made a webcomic called Totally Flat. And Totally Flat is basically a story about Flak invading the world of Super Mario Bros. 3 with Advance Wars units, which was really funny at the time. But at one point, the Situation Room story arc started, and this was basically a series of comics in which, in addition to the comic, there was also a playable map to go along with it. Because custom maps were big for Advance Wars back in the day. But unfortunately, lack of interest in the series put the brakes on the Situation Room story arc, and all of those maps ended up not getting comics to go along with them, but the maps were still posted, and I thought, you know, I like Totally Flat so much, I like these maps so much, I'm going to put all of them into an Advance Wars 2 ROM hack, because I was learning Advance Wars hacking at the time, and I'd gotten the basics down, so I made this, a collection of Marines maps, 30 War Room maps for you to play on, and I'm going to play through all of them in this playthrough. So shoutouts to Saru Marine for influencing the creation of this ROM hack. Unintentionally, of course. A thing that you've got to keep in mind, however, is that all of these maps, well, most of them, were made with Advance Wars DS in mind. So, like, things like the AI, they're not going to behave exactly the same way as they did back in Advance Wars DS, because this is Advance Wars 2, where the AI was not as good. But the maps are still challenging. So for this first map, 10 Tanks Tryouts is the full name. I had to shorten it to just 10 Tanks. I'm going to play Kanbei because this map is actually really hard. Now, the plot for this map was, because this was one of the maps that did get an actual plot. The plot of this is that in order to fight against Jess, Flak's units decide to steal 10 tanks from Yellow Comet. However, because they were from Yellow Comet, this caused Flak to go second on this map. Like, that was the in-universe explanation. It was a very meta webcomic, as you can imagine. So yeah, you can't really do that in a ROM hack because the War Room mode always assumes that the player is controlling Team 1, aka Orange Star, aka whatever team changes to the color of the CO you selected. So even though I'm going first, like, all of the rest of the map is exactly the same. All of Jess's units are here, and we still have only 10 regular tanks to deal with an enemy medium tank, and because it's Jess, like, Jess tanks are really strong. I tried this with Flak earlier because I wanted to use the namesake of the webcomic, and it ended up being really, really difficult because a Jess tank can take out a regular recon on the road, and that was not good. I was going into it with a deficit in my technique score. Not that the original maps were made with the scoring system in mind. Like, I want to S-rank all of the maps. I don't want to get a perfect 300 because that's probably impossible for some maps. But I do want to at least get S-ranks and do my old creations some justice. Even though these aren't my maps, of course. They are Saru Marine's maps adapted into Advance Wars 2. So yeah, I'll just start playing now. So I'm going to select Kanbei because Kanbei on pre-deployed is overpowered. Naturally, right? You know, it is kind of unusual to have a pre-deployed War Room map, but yeah, I think it does make things a little interesting, even though it basically kills any thought of, like, using grit, because on this map in particular, all of your units are direct units. There's only 2 indirects. So it's going to be near impossible to use grit unless you make really good use of those 2 indirects. And a thing that I learned from that initial test playthrough is that you definitely want to keep that rocket moving forward because you've got to use it on the medium tank as quickly as possible. And due to Kanbei's increased defense, I think I can be a little bit safer, like I can be a little bit more daring, rather, because I'll be a lot safer moving forward. So maybe selecting Kanbei is going to make this way too easy. But still, like, Jess medium tanks are a huge threat to deal with, especially when you don't have any medium tanks of your own. Alright, so we'll just move everybody up. This recon's probably outlived its usefulness by now. And if you do want to heal your units, you've definitely got to take those cities, because they'll be your only source of healing. Very important on a pre-deployed map. Alright, so we're up to turn 2. And let's see here. Let's see, I guess the rocket is alright doing this. I don't need to move it up too quickly. And we will begin capturing. And, yeah. Maybe not the most interesting map in the world, because you are basically using only regular tanks. Like, that's the bulk of your army right here. Let's see, can I one-shot this recon? I certainly can, and I can probably one-shot this rocket, too. This is already going a lot better than the attempted flak playthrough. I bet if I was playing flak, then I would just get really unlucky with his dice rolls. I really don't know why they made a CO that is based entirely around dice rolls, but then again, they already had Nell. But her dice rolls are only positive, and Flak's can end up a negative, so yeah. Here comes the overdrive, which probably means we are going to lose at least one of our tanks, even though we are playing as Kanbei. Like, it's still possible for this Jess medium tank with overdrive to do a lot of damage, and that goes for the regular tanks too. Oh, and that's unfortunate. That is an example of the bad AI in Advance Wars 2, because if that tank had gone for any other tank on the board, the medium tank would not have wasted its attack on a low HP unit. Alright, so we definitely got to get the rocket up and moving, because now we've really got to deal with that medium tank. But we do have... should we activate it now? Probably not. We can wait a turn for that. I do want to pull some of my units back in order to lure everybody in. Oh, and a change that I made to this ROM hack is that you can see that tanks now start with less fuel, and infantry start with less fuel as well. I'm not really sure why I did that. I think I was trying to make APCs more usable. Like, for their actual refueling capabilities, and not just for, like, ferrying your infantry units. Right, so the medium tank should go for the capturing infantry, if I know my Advance Wars AI well. It's probably not going to do a whole lot of damage. Oh, they're going to KO it. I think you can lose 2 units safely, because you can't build any more units, and now's definitely the time for Samurai Spirit. You can't build any units on this map, so technique is based entirely on how many units you started with, which is 19, so I think losing 2 units is safe. And as I said, I don't want to get perfect S ranks or anything, but I do want to get regular S ranks, so it's still worth it to pay attention to this stuff. Right, that's a lot of damage. Samurai Spirit is broken. In fact, I'm pretty sure I nerfed Kanbei down to, like, 20% attack instead of 30%. I don't know, I can't really remember. I could data mine the game in order to find out, but I don't really remember off the top of my head. Okay, refuel these guys. Now we can actually start healing this tank, but it's probably not going to be necessary. And turbocharge is not going to do anything because there are no vehicle units left. Alright, so there is 0 defense for this infantry on the river. And, probably going to have to take one more turn in order to finish off that mech and close down the map. What turn are we on? Turn 7. Turn 7 is actually really good, I would say. But with a little work, I could probably shorten it down to turn 6. Alright, let's see what our score was for 10 tank tryouts. Perfect S rank. Alright, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to try not to use Kanbei in every map. A lot of these are actually pre-deployed. So using Kanbei in every map would be a fun idea, but I'm not going to do it all the time. I can't make this the most boring playthrough ever. Okay, the next map is called Uphill Station. Originally, Jess played against Lash on this map, but I'm not going to select Jess. I'm going to select Sammy, because I need to make this map not take as much time as it took originally. Because just looking at the map, it should be clear that it might take a while, like going through all of this to get up to the HQ and just pounding away at Lash. So this map originally had a problem in the ROM hack version. You see this airport? If Lash captures that airport, she will never build anything out of it. And the reason that happens is because this map replaces a map that from Advance Wars 2 that originally had no airports. So the AI instinctively thinks, I don't need to mess with airports at all because there are no airports anyways. So let's just not have the AI for airports in the first place. I think is how it works. Alright then. So I tried this earlier. I played with Sammy, and I was almost about to victory march her, except for the fact that I did not have enough power meter, because in Advance Wars DS you would definitely be able to fill the power meter faster, but not in Advance Wars 2. I came up just short, so I have to try again. Right. So we definitely want to get some money going here, because we don't have a lot of money, and there's a medium tank coming for us yet again. See, can we pull that mech down here? I would like to pull that mech down here so that I don't have to deal with it later. I think if I position everybody like so, then I should be fine. So here comes the medium tank. I don't think it's going to actually attack. Well, nobody's in range, so it can't attack, but it's smart enough to avoid my artillery range. So let's go. I want to be very careful about this. I'll go like this. And if I position my units like so, kind of scared of the medium tank after dealing with a Jess medium tank, but I think it should be a lot safer now that it's Lash, and she only gets power if she's on suitable terrain. And these two vehicles, yes, they are in fact trapped here and can't move anywhere. I think that's intentional. I don't really know why. Like, they're gonna be just useless just sitting there. I wonder if I should, like, look at the original map to see if I'm missing something. Alright, so the medium tank went into range of both artilleries. That is a good thing. We can destroy it outright. Now we attack with the mechs. And do this. Join them up because I don't have time to go back for healing. I'm gonna try and get the APC to take some damage because that was originally why I did not manage to victory march the enemy HQ. Again, I'm not going to use Victory March in every map. I'm just using it here because I think that's the quickest way to deal with it. Otherwise, you have to go around that road or through those woods. We've lost one unit so far. Right, so what do we do with this? I'm actually going to use that mech to attack before moving it in on the HQ. So if we move this way... Yeah, I think that should be alright. Oh, actually, did I leave Victory March unchanged? I think I changed it. I actually think I changed Victory March somehow, but I can't remember. I know how to confirm it, actually. So, what we can do is move the infantry onto the building. Yes, you can see that the capture points for the building went down to 8 instead of 5 like they normally would. That's because I reduced the day-to-day capture bonus to 1.25 instead of 1.5. So I think that's what's going on there. Which would mean that I also changed the Victory March bonus from 2,000% to Let's see, what did I change it to? I think I changed it to 400%? I don't know. I don't think the CO dossier says. Right, so I'm hoping for that tank to do some damage to me. Oh, not even in range. How do you like that? So what should I do here? It's gonna be tough to try and Victory March that HQ, because I wanted to make Victory Marching tougher. Because, like, it was just such an easy mode strategy, right? Like, everybody just powers up their power meter and then goes for the Victory March with Sammy and War Room. At least when they aren't abusing Kanbei. Like, I'm even fairly certain that I nerfed Kanbei down to 120% instead of 130%. So we still got a little bit more to go before we can activate Victory March, but maybe if we get up to that HQ by going through the woods, then it won't even matter. We won't even need it. Because it seems like Lash is avoiding building up her forces there. So of course my units have to come in from all the way over there. And I really should... Oh, it seems Lash decided to go for the city first instead of the base. That is very, very odd. Of course, I'm about to get a base up here, but it's completely useless. I don't know what it's doing up there. And she's got 15,000, so I think it's time she builds a rocket. Yeah. Right, so... what do I do with this? The mech is definitely going for the base now. Like, it'd be silly for her not to. We could probably keep the... Oh, I left that in range of the rocket. That's not good. So, maybe start moving in on her. Let's just move everybody forward. Alright, Lash, what are you gonna do? Hopefully she fires the rocket. And it just stays there, so that's good. That's probably a point in my favor. But there's a tank there now. And we might not have enough to activate a Victory March on the next turn when we can actually use that. So... like, we're not going to have enough HP, I think, in order to pull off a Victory March. Although, maybe we still will. We just have to be very careful about it. I want the rocket to get away from there first. Let's just wait for the rocket to get away. I think that's the best course of action. Seems like the best course of action to me. A lot of moving all of the units that from behind. Unfortunately, nothing I can really do about that. Alright, so this rocket has to move now. Tank goes for me, which means I can destroy it and hopefully have enough for a Victory March. But she built a medium tank! This gets worse and worse every turn! Alright, so I will just put... oh, you can't put an infantry unit. Jeez, what do I do here? This is so weird. Alright, hopefully that medium tank goes into artillery range. I think it has to. Alright, I got a plan. I got a plan. Don't worry, everybody. I know what I'm doing. I have a plan to deal with this. Oh, I hope that doesn't result in another lost unit, but I think we're safe on that front because we have 30 built and 3 lost, so it should not be too much of a problem. Build some more units for tech. Although, what turn are we on? Yeah, that's what I thought. We lost it on their artillery. I think I was doing that just to charge the power meter. A rocket now. Well, we've got Victory March ready, so, what do we do? What do we do now? That rocket is just the worst thing right now. Because if I put the mech... Like, because of the Victory March nerf, I actually have to think about this a little. Alright, let's wait for that rocket to... Maybe wait for it to move away. Try to move in a little bit more. Yeah, I'll wait a turn and try to move in a little bit more. Which means I need to reinforce this side so that that recon doesn't do anything crazy. Yeah, I should have brought more mechs. What turn are we on? We are on turn 11. Turn 11 is fine, I think. Well, I've built up a little bit of money, so maybe invest a little. So the rockets have to move away. And the medium tank's moving away too, that's good. Oh, the rocket actually moved closer. This is getting even worse. Come on. Alright, time for drastic measures. So from either of these two positions, the rocket can't fire at anything. The tanks, the rocket might go for this artillery, which in that case is actually good because then there's only the mech and this APC from this angle available for firing. They could both go for the mechs, though. That's the other troublesome thing. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so worried about what might happen with Lash, because, you know, it's Advance Wars 2 AI, it's not supposed to be that strong. But this strategy hinges on one of those two mechs not getting damaged. So this is actually pretty important. Okay, they went for the infantry. I think that means we win. We now have to hope that the Victory March firepower bonus does enough to this rocket. Yeah, this is actually so very intense. Because I do think I still kept the movement bonuses we're about to see. Yeah, I definitely kept the movement bonuses, so I'm going to build for tech. We built 35, but lost 5, so, Oh, that's a huge boost. That was... I think I could have destroyed the rocket without a Victory March. So it all comes down to speed, power, and, you know, technique is a little off the mark, but whatever, I wasn't going for a perfect. And there you go. That is Uphill Station in 13 turns. Alright then, the last map for this video is going to be Squiggle River. It was originally a battle of Sonya against Eagle in Fog of War, but you can't have Fog of War in Advance Wars 2 War Room. The game is hard-coded to not do that. So instead of Sonya, we're going to play with Olaf. And the reason for that is because we can really slow down Eagle's air units if we use Olaf's Blizzard correctly. Like, I don't really know who else to use besides Kanbei, and I don't want to use Kanbei in every map, because that'd be boring. So Olaf should suffice, I think. So let's get our fighters. I want our fighters over here, because we're actually not going to attack those B-copters in particular. We're actually going to attack the fighters when they come down here. And our bombers can focus on the land part. It'd be nice to play a sensei for powered-up copters and infantry, but, yeah, that's not really worth a whole lot, because there's only so many infantry and copters. It is a pre-deployed map. And for some reason, that fighter on the left, it does not move. I think I made a mistake with its AI. It's possible that I made an error on some of these maps, transcribing them from the comic images to Advance Wars 2. Like, I think that was pointed out at one point, actually, but it's not a huge deal. It's not the biggest game changer in the world. Alright, so no attacks have been made. Shame I have to use the missile to hit this fighter instead of this copter over here. I would have liked to do that. Okay, so this fighter is not in range. Because you gotta be careful when fighting Eagle, because if you charge his lightning strike, you're gonna be in trouble. Nobody likes lightning strike. We can hit the copter with this anti-air, so first I will move this fighter over here. Just gotta watch his power meter. The good news is our power meter is charging as well. Yeah, it's going up way quickly because of how expensive all of these units are. So what I'm going to do is, maybe I can get a... If I get a Winter Fury, and I just did. So yeah, I'm going to use that now. I also remember that I added a couple of Winter Fury. I don't know what I was doing there. Like, I made a couple of weird text changes as well. Winter Fury, if you get lucky, Olaf will wish you a Merry Christmas. It is December, so that is quite appropriate, actually. And, if we get lucky, Eagle may, put out a special CO power quote. But yeah, I'm expecting a lightning strike on the next turn, so that's the reason I wanted to make it snow now, so that he would be completely crippled and not have much space to move around in. So that is the big brain strat. I actually found a reason to use Olaf, and it's this map right here. Of course, originally you'd be using Sonya. Now, sometimes he will say, do a barrel roll. Obvious Star Fox joke. And the power name is now Blitzkrieg, which is just German for lightning strike. I thought that was interesting for a bit of flavor, because I think Green Earth is supposed to be Germany, but I don't really know for sure. We're going to lose a couple of units because the bomber decided to go after those infantry over there. And all of my fighters are clear on the other side of the map. So that was a good use of, Winter Fury. Solved a bunch of issues in one fell swoop. But not all of them. We've got... You left 2 of them at 1 HP. What are you doing? Jeez. Alright, this is going to be tricky. I've got to get rid of that bomber before it ruins my technique rank. Because you can only lose 2 units again because there are a grand total of 19 pre-deployed units. These tanks aren't that useful because there's no bridge. Like, I'm thinking I may have forgotten to put a bridge somewhere. Alright, we need to lure in that fighter. It's not gonna one-shot the bomber, but I would really like it to not destroy my units. Well, there's no fighters over here, so let's start clearing a path for our HQ invasion. And there's also that bomber to deal with, too. We just have no way of healing because there's no airport. A very unfortunate fact. Oh, the bomber went for the missile, which is good, and we've lost 2 units. We've lost 3 units, excuse me. And one of them was the missile. But at least we can get rid of all of the remaining threats. Just be careful not to hit the incorrect target. Let's make sure that's not in range. It is not. Now we can start getting our power score out of the way. Block the mech, just in case. No other air units over here. Playing this in Fog would probably be very painful for Advance Wars 2, but I'm not sure about DS, because in DS, the AI actually obeys the rules of Fog of War. Go figure. I may have mentioned that already, but I should probably say it again. Block the mech. I just don't want to take any sort of damage from that mech. Alright, just a little bit more and we should be done with this. Come on, 4 stars of defense isn't gonna save a 1 HP unit. Of course not. And just block them on the side here. Maybe that's what the tank is for. Getting defensive on that side. And just 2 more turns, so let's take inventory. 8 turns, 3 units lost out of 19. I think we should be able to get a S rank pretty easily. Always good to make good use of a CO you don't normally use all that often. Olaf might be a counter to Eagle. How's that? And that is the 3rd map of the 3 that I'm going to play in this video cleared. Only one of them was a perfect, but that's alright. So next time we'll take on the next set of 3 maps. And continue on through this journey through the world of Advance Wars 2 Totally Flat Situation Room. See you next video.